What's up, guys? Jake Sleesman, Blue Collar Outdoors, and today we are putting it to rest. Today we test the Exodus Full Broadhead, which is New York legal, and the Swept Exodus, both in 100 grains, to see if this Swept really does yield more penetration than the Full. Stay tuned. As you can tell here, the broadheads are really not much different. Both of these are 100 grain broadheads. The only difference in between is this small piece right here on the Full. As you can see here, I mean, it's pretty obvious what the difference is. The Full has a non-barbed approach, where the Swept is a barbed head. So this is not legal in every state. This is. Now that's the only difference I see looking at them. Same setup, same sharpness. These broadheads are extremely sharp out of the package. And don't get me wrong, as I shot the Swept already, I was impressed with its performance, but to me, I hate a barbed broadhead. I cannot stand the idea of it. To me, I know what can happen bow hunting. I know what happens when it doesn't go right. Yeah, say you have the shot right on cue, dead on the money, let her fly. Say you hit a twig you didn't see. Say she sees you or he sees you, and they jump the string, turn into you, etc., and you don't get the penetration you're looking for. You hit a shoulder, whatever it may be. And this broadhead right here, being a barbed broadhead, the animal has no chance of shaking that arrow. Whereas with the Full, it does, because there's nothing here that's going to stop it from pulling back out. It's square. It's not like a fish hook. As you'll see when I shoot the gel, you're going to see this sucker right here, and I'm going to film it, just how hard it is to pull this out of the gel. We've shot a lot of barbed broadheads, and every single time is an absolute nuisance to pull it out of the gel, and it does take a lot of the gel with it. With that said, this is just my opinion, guys. Everyone's got one. It's just how I feel about swept broadheads or barbed broadheads, whatever you want to call it, hook broadheads. If you guys love them and you shoot them and you're successful with them, I'm not here to judge you or tell you not to. It's whatever yields legal, ethical kills. In New York, you can't hunt with this anyways, and I'm not opposed. This broadhead right here is literally the only difference is this small piece of steel. And all it does is help in the case of a bad shot. As I'm sorry, guys, I know I got a lot of flack for it on this test with the Swept. I'm just a realist when it comes to bow hunting. I'm not perfect. No one is. Shit happens. It just does. Anyone who's to tell you that no matter what, they'll never have a bad shot of field or any way they'll ever encounter a negative effect of this broadhead probably isn't taking it afield, because there's so many variables, there's so many things that can happen. It's the bad part about bow hunting. It is what it is. And to me, I don't want to do anything in my power to make it more consequential on a bad shot. God, it'd eat me alive. It would drive me nuts. So I just don't see why everyone got so hot and heavy over this when, I mean, look at the difference. Ain't nothing there. But everyone says this one will penetrate more. So what I'm doing today, we're not going to shoot the chrono. It's cold, it's 40-some degrees. The gel will not tolerate this temperature very long. So what we have is a small window. So what we're going to do, let me zoom out here, I'm self-filming. We have two arrows, exactly the same. Okay, both are Black Eagle Spartans, both are 250 spine, and both have a 50 grain insert up front. Both have regular 4-fletch, both have regular nocks supplied with the Black Eagle arrows. Everything about this is the same, 100 grain broadheads, 50 grains up front to help them with touch, light back with the 4-fletch and their nocks. These arrows will be traveling 270-ish. I'll look back through at some old videos and see with a 100 grain head, because with a 100 grain head, with the regular knock and fletch. These actually weigh in around 515 total grains for both arrows. I'm just trying to keep this as stock as I can for this test, so the only variable is the swept versus the full. And as always, I'm going to be using my Tri-X. It's got the wake limbs on there, 83.5 pound draw, 27-inch draw length. So all that stock. Arrows are the same. Like I said, the only difference is these right here. I mean, that is the only difference. And guys, I'm not seeing much. My whole theory, let me explain what I think is going to happen. What I think, in the gel, I think this will get a touch further. I do. Because the ballistics gel is not like whitetail. It's not. It's extremely dense. The more surface area your broadhead has in ballistics gel, it will hinder that penetration. Unless they're sharp and or they cut it out of the way. Now, both these broadheads, insanely sharp. Taking them out of their frickin' pack, you gotta be careful with that. I cut my thumb open pretty good on the old full. But in a whitetail, guys, look where this extra surface area is. It's on the back side of the blade, tucked in towards the shaft of the arrow. That means it's in the heart of the cut. This is spinning through a whitetail. It's clearing all that out. That back of that surface area ain't gonna mean shit. Nothing at all, because there's nothing there that's going to be left to drag. In gel, it's different because the gel closes back down, so I think the swept will get a touch further. So in the gel, I think this will have a touch more advantage. In a field and in a whitetail, there's no difference. I would almost bet this channel on it. There is no difference. This might have slight less wind resistance flying, but once again, it's going to be minimal. It's not even going to be enough to risk it, in my opinion. So what we're going to do is I'll go get the gel. I'll get everything set up first, get the cameras ready, get everything right, and we'll shoot it. We'll go down and speculate. We're not necessarily looking at the wound channel on this one. We're just seeing how much further this will penetrate over this. And is it worth it, or is this the better head? Because there's less negatives with it. So less rambling, let's get after it. Let's get this set up and shoot some gel. Here we go. The first one up is the swept. We'll shoot the gel. And seeing how I'm self-filming, I did shoot this before at the target. They both grouped really well at 20. I shot these both being 100 grains. It's a different setup than what I'm sighted in for. So I know pretty much where I gotta aim to hit center. And like I said, we're not looking really at the wound channel. We're mainly just looking at penetration difference. But here we go. They were flying a little right. So 20 yards. I'm seeing how I'm self-filming. I'm just gonna leave it right where it is, so y'all know. Because I've learned when you test stuff like this, you gotta make sure you show every angle, or someone's gonna say you're cheating. So you live and you learn. Here we are, self-filming. Here we go. I gotta square up to the gel, 20 yards. Once again, 100 grain swept. Gotta shoot a touch left. Perfect. Now, 100 grain full. Same thing. Actually, it turned the block, so for a fair test, it's got to be square. So now it's actually lining up perfect with me. Like I said, these both shot right, but it's just because I'm sighted in with another setup, another weight. But they shot dead nuts true to each other. They flew great. I mean, I love Exodus. They're great broadheads. So let's shoot the gel. Perfect. Exactly how I wanted it. So we shot both. I showed you, so you can't say I'm up to no shenanigans. Like I said, I learned. You can see top is the swept, bottom is the full. that camera's been rolling, so let's go down and check it out. All right, guys, so this is some results that I didn't even foresee, but it's kind of funny how this works. Now, as you can see here, the top is your swept broadhead. Your bottom is your full. And guys, there's no trick. That full actually penetrated further into the gel than the swept did, as you can see here. I mean, clear as day. Both have exceptional penetration. Both have an awesome wound channel. I mean, but that full actually got further into the gel. Now, I believed in a whitetail, it would be no difference in penetration as to where that extra surface area is. As you can see here, that extra surface area is actually where everything's cut. So in no way, shape, or form is that going to be a problem in a whitetail or in gel, now that I see it in the gel. So to me, why would you risk it with this head when the penetration is the benefit? I don't see a benefit here. The full actually got more penetration. I mean, the wound channel is outstanding on both. The entry cut is filthy on both. I mean, really, these are exceptional broadheads, guys. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Exodus makes killer broadheads. But the whole point of this test was literally no other than to see if the swept would actually penetrate further than the full. And guys, it didn't. Okay, this is looking square at the block, right at him, zoomed in, and it did not. I didn't think it would in a whitetail. I did believe it would in the gel because of the resistance. But if it doesn't in gel, there ain't no way in hell it will ever out-penetrate this broadhead. Remarkable stuff. This is why we test. All right, guys, so this is what I was wanting to show you. Did I believe the swept would out-penetrate it? Yes, I did in gel. In a whitetail, I didn't believe it would, and this just proved why I was right. I mean, I didn't see where the additional of the surface area, I didn't see where it would ever hinder penetration, being on the back side of the heart of the cut. If it's hindering your penetration, that means your broadhead ain't cutting nothing. That's the only way it would. And as you can see here, the full's better. But this is the difference. You get the full pulls out, okay? It's non-barbed. Now, oh, that in there. You're swept. I was pulling as hard as I could right there. It grabs and it yanks and it tears. There is no way this would ever get dislodged from an animal, which only leads to infection. This, an animal could shake because there's no, the back ends are square. They can be shook, as they call it. The swept does not allow that to happen. And when I see less penetration too on top of it, I just got to question why you would ever shoot this broadhead. Okay, so now you saw how hard it was to pull that out. Now you can see how much tissue that grabbed and yanked pulling out. The top one is the swept, the bottom's the full. The full came out clean. The swept did not. It actually dislodged a lot of gel, and it's a pain to pull this out of that gel. Be no different in a whitetail. Being a bow hunter, personally to me, my only goal when I go afield, it's not punching tags. I don't measure a win or a loss or a success or failure on that notion. I believe every time we get to go out and see what God created and get to experience the outdoors, see nature, that's a success. If I punch a tag and get to provide for my family, that's a bonus. I do not go out with the sole intention of killing. But I'll tell you what, my only prayer is when I do get the chance to go full draw and all of it comes together, I pray that I invested the time into building my setup correctly. I invested the time into practice, and I'm 100% confident in my setup yielding a quick and ethical kill. The only thing that ever scares me about the outdoors is wounding an animal. It keeps me up at night. I've done it. Okay, every bow hunter has. It happens. So to me, I just don't understand why you would ever shoot this when this option is just as good, if not better, than this. This has no negatives. It can be shook if something happens. This can't. So it gets me a little tore up internally. That's why I'll never shoot a barbed head. I'm not trying to change your opinions. Guys, I want you to look at performance. Whatever works for you, use it. Everyone has a different moral compass. We do not have to agree to be friends. We do not have to agree to share the outdoors together. I love everyone that hunts ethically and legally. Doesn't matter to me what they use, as long as it's ethical, legal, and it's successful for them. That's all I care about. That's why I started BCO. Testing, that helps. And guys, today I think I'm just going to open a lot of eyes with these two broadheads. Okay, the swept Exodus 100 grain and the full Exodus 100 grain. Once again, 50 grains of brass in the Spartans. Same exact arrow, I just made sure it was just stock from them with the 50 grains up front. Original nocks. Everything about it is the same except for the broadheads, so there was no outside influence. I even made sure that I showed, the shot, but I think this one's going to be eye-opening because a lot of people thought this would have more penetration, and a lot of people said it would be the same, but to see the full actually yield more penetration is absolutely insane. It's not what I thought, and I shot a lot into gel, but I did think it would be the same in a whitetail. I just didn't. Where that is, it's not going to influence it. It's just not. That's all there is to it. But guys, drop a comment below if you shoot either of these heads. Like I said, I'm not trying to judge people. If it works for you, don't change a thing. Like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's one of the best sayings ever, and I don't even know who ever said it. The man was a genius. I'm not here to change your moral compass. I'm not here to do any of that. I just speak my opinions. Same with Hawk and Moose on each video. And if you don't agree with us, that's fine. It's the beauty of outdoors. We all got our ways. We all got the ways we like to do it. To me, I don't see why you'd ever shoot this when this actually penetrated more in gel. So in a whitetail or an elk or a hog, this is going to out-penetrate this every time. Because if it did in the gel with the extra surface area, man, I'm going to blow through a whitetail because these broadheads are for real. But guys, we're pushing for 10K subscribers. We're getting there. We're almost to 9,000. When we get to 10K, we're going to do our turkey giveaway. I'm beyond excited to do that. It is a loaded giveaway. It's absolutely insane what we're doing, and I want somebody who's been subscribed to win it. So make sure to share this video right here with all your hunt buddies, across all your Facebook hunting groups. Let's get this tested in front of as many eyes as we can and see what everyone has to think about this, because this is actually a controversial topic. Between the swept and the full, there's a lot of people battling back and forth on this, and I just thought if no one's going to test it, hey, we got you. We'll actually put it to the test and see what happens, and here we go. Now we know. So share these videos with everybody. Let's get BCO Nation to 10K. Let me buy a gun for you, your chokes, your ammo, your reflex sight, and God willing, get you to come out here and turkey hunt with us for a weekend. Or maybe we'll come to you, either or. We'll figure something out. But guys, this is Jake Sleesman, Blue Collar Outdoors. I got another broadhead test to film before this gel gets too cold. And then Hawk and I got an evening wood duck hunt before they migrate. So hopefully he'll be here soon so we can film the other test and we can get after it. But guys, shocking results. This is why you got to test. Honest tests, no BS, just performance. Jake Sleesman, Blue Collar Outdoors. We'll catch you on the next one.